Peace, young Ash here. Back with another vlog. We're in different surroundings. We're in my mother's house in Salthill, where I'm from. Galway City. I'm a rapper from Galway City, the west of Ireland. So I came to my mother's house for a visit today, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to make a video because she's gone out for a walk, and I was like, may as well bang out a bit of content while I'm here because, yeah, keeps me occupied. I love doing it. So, big up everyone that streamed my album. I dropped an album Sunday night, Monday morning. Links will be in the description. If you want to buy me a coffee, even €3 or €4, that'd be greatly appreciated. Links will be in the comments or the description. Comments are easier to access. It's buy me a coffee. That's the link. I'll link it there. So if you want to do that, I'd greatly appreciate it. So it's kind of a bittersweet day because I finished a 2.5-year cycle of therapy like an hour ago, and I was seeing this therapist for 2.5 years, and it's kind of emotional because it's ending. I mean, it ended. It's over. We're both kind of moving on, but it ended on such a sweet note. Like, I was able to tell him, you know, how much I appreciated the work we both put in order to try and help me get well. And I'm one for the power of talking things out. The tool of being able to talk things out is paramount to my mental health and well-being, and it's been instrumental in changing me as a person and getting me well again, you know. So yeah, please check the links in the comments. I'll link my new album. I'll link Buy Me a Coffee and my Instagram if you want to follow me. That's enough plug-in now. I said I'd make a video about schizophrenia because I mention it every video and I never really delved that deep into it. But the first real symptom I had that I noticed was in my early 20s, when I was 20, 21, and it was in the year leading up to COVID. So yeah, 2020 is when it really started. I started getting intrusive thoughts, and I'd get fake memories of like shit that didn't happen, and I believed them and think they're real, and I thought there was a massive conspiracy against me, and I was remembering people torturing me and SAing me and all sorts of stuff that never happened. But I was under the illusion and the delusion that it was real, like, and that all this horrible stuff happened to me, and that there was a big conspiracy and people, you know, wanted to punish me or hated me. And it was a really lonely place to be, and I couldn't open up about it with anyone because I was so paranoid, like, and I was under the delusion that I was going to prison, for the various petty criminal acts of my addiction, you know. I thought I was a sick individual that couldn't be helped or saved. Or I at least believed that people thought that about me, even though I knew it was false myself, but I couldn't do anything about it. People were just out to get me and hated me and wanted me persecuted, like, you know. And that snowballed. My drug and alcohol use exacerbated everything. I ended up becoming homeless. I got into a local homeless shelter, and my drug use continued and got worse. And when I couldn't afford alcohol, I drank hand sanitizer. That's where it brought me, you know. That's the lengths I went to get drunk and high in my addiction. It's fucking horrendous, like, when I say it, but I drank hand sanitizer when I couldn't afford anything. That's the reality. So I wouldn't condone drug or alcohol use with anyone that can't safely use it. And if you're honest with yourself, you'll know yourself whether you can safely use alcohol. And drugs, I wouldn't condone any drug to anyone ever. They ruined my life and my mental health. But anyway, after a couple of months in the homeless shelter, that's when the hallucinations began. I started hearing things and seeing things that weren't real, and I believed they were real. And again, I thought everyone in the homeless shelter wanted to kill me, and I thought that thought they were out to get me and they hated me, and I thought everyone outside in the public was like looking in the window at me and fucking conspiring against me and gossiping about me. And you know, it was just the loneliest and most depressing and sick feeling I've ever felt, is when I felt the whole world was out to get me, and I felt persecuted, and I didn't feel seen or heard, even though I thought there was people looking at me. Like, I didn't feel loved by anyone. I felt hated. And like, it got to the point where I was in my room in the homeless shelter, I was lying on my bed, and I'd be looking around, and there'd be like voices narrating, saying like, oh, he's looking at this now, and now he's lighting up a cigarette. And I thought they could see everything, and they were narrating to me. I thought they had like cameras all over the room, and you know, it got to a really severe stage, and I was really unwell, and you know, I was in harm's way, whether it was my own hand or whether I was going to harm someone else, because I was so out of sync with reality. Like, and it's been a really long journey of recovery. Like, I've held on to delusions for a long time. The hallucinations disappeared after 6 months, maybe longer than 6 months. I was hallucinating, hearing voices, thought they were talking to me, and I thought people had a special technology that would allow people to communicate through voices in my head, and I thought they were helping me, and I thought they were guiding me, and I thought they were my friends. And through medication, staying sober, recovery, talking, using all the tools at my disposal to get well, therapy, group therapy, I've done all of those things, and especially medication stopped the hallucinations, thank God, touch wood. And yeah, I still get episodes where I hear voices, but they only last a couple of hours, and I know they're not real. And there is still that sick part of me that is like, maybe they are real, and maybe there is a conspiracy out to get me, and maybe I need to take revenge, and you know, delusional stuff. But mostly through going to therapy for a long time and talking about it, I'm like, I know none of that shit is real. And I know that's my sickness, that's my mental illness, and my ego and my pride, and I really know it's false. But we're dating back to pre-COVID 2020. And it's taken me this long to get to this point in my life where I can objectively look at myself and talk about it, and really objectively look at my delusions and my hallucinations and say they're not real. And they don't reflect anything about my life or my own self, you know. So yeah, it's been a wild journey. And as I said, the only symptoms I get these days might be believing in delusion for a little while and hearing voices for a couple hours. I haven't had an episode for 3 weeks, which is quite long considering the frequency of them, you know, in recent years. So I'm doing quite well in terms of that. I actually, fight or flight got triggered in me the last day, and I was kind of panicking, and normally I get an episode in those times that it come on, but I had like a bit of anxiety and not a full-blown panic attack, but fight or flight was triggered and adrenaline was going, and I still didn't have an episode. So that, like, that's there's a lot to be said for that. That's an improvement. We're over 10 minutes. I think I'll leave it there. Peace. Check the links in the comments and description. If you want to buy me a coffee, that'd be greatly appreciated. Help support the channel in any way you can. Like, comment, share with a friend. That'd be doing me a huge favor, doing the channel a huge favor. If you like the content, you know, take action. Peace. Prince Ash.